All right, so moving on to the next segment. I'll be sharing my thoughts on the new quarterback deals that have been taking place, signed, inked, dealed, and have transpired in the National Football League over the last 5 to 7 days. So we're gonna start with quarterback number one, Tua Tagovailoa, starting quarterback for the Miami Dolphins. So Tua Tagovailoa has signed a 4-year, $212 million contract extension to remain the franchise quarterback for the Miami Dolphins. Tua Tagovailoa will make a total of $53 million on this new deal. $53 million a year, I should say, on this brand new deal. So, my thoughts on this new deal taking place. It is nice that the Dolphins and Tua Tagovailoa came to a new deal. It is nice that Tua will be staying with the Miami Dolphins. You could see the relationship building between Tua Tagovailoa and head coach Mike McDaniels. You can see the relationship building. You can see the chemistry that they have offensively with a quarterback and a head coach. They seem like they get on the same page and gel well. So I'm not surprised that the Dolphins re-signed Tua Tagovailoa. And I think that Mike McDaniels is still obviously working on Tua Tagovailoa, still trying to bring the best out of him. The thing is, if Tua Tagovailoa just can stay healthy on the field when needed, that's the only concern. I think he's a talented guy, but I just don't see how this deal pushes the needle for the Miami Dolphins to be a true Super Bowl contender and the AFC, let alone the entire National Football League, because the Dolphins have still only won one game against a team that's above 500 or has a winning record, dating all the way back to Week 3 of 2022. And the only time that they have done that since Week 3 of 2022, unfortunately, was when they beat the Dallas Cowboys Christmas Eve last year in the National Football League during the NFL season. So you only beat one team above 500 for really over 2 seasons, dating back all the way back to Week 3 of 2022. And they showed that they are not capable of winning a big-time game on the road. They got dismantled and dominated when they had to face adversity. We all know it's hot in South Beach in Miami, Florida. But when you had to go to Kansas City and play the Kansas City Chiefs in a hostile territory, when it's a little cold, a little shivery, I understand the weather was very brutal, but you got a belt-to-ass treatment on the road. And you showed to the National Football League that you cannot win big-time games or playoff games, let alone when you're not in the warm weather of Miami, Florida, when you got to face some adversity, go in the cold, below freezing temperatures in Kansas City. We've seen it, and I just don't think this Tua Tagovailoa deal pushes the needle for them to be Super Bowl contenders at this particular time. So moving on to the next guy who got a big contract, quarterback for the Green Bay Packers, Jordan Love. So we've seen Jordan Love signed a 4-year, $220 million extension to remain the franchise quarterback for the Green Bay Packers. This deal actually makes Jordan Love tied for the highest paid player in NFL history. Woo. So my thoughts on this? Excuse me. One thing I will say before I get into this. I will say the quarterback market is insane right now. It's absolutely insane. And it just seems like every quarterback in the National Football League that's going to put pen to paper, ink, and sign a deal is just going to get insane money, no matter who you are at this particular point. And it's just going to continue for every quarterback to make record-breaking numbers, make record-breaking money every time they sign a big extension. Now, Jordan Love deserves this extension. I will say that. From Week 10 all the way up to the divisional round where the Green Bay Packers were eliminated, he was playing at a high caliber level at the quarterback position. Hands down, I got to say. And Jordan Love, I will say, because at the beginning of the season, I had a lot of concern, and I thought the Green Bay Packers were actually going to have to draft a quarterback in the 2024 NFL draft because I didn't see Jordan Love progressing. I didn't see Jordan Love hitting up the intermediate routes, but Jordan Love in the second half of the season improved, took command on the offense, looked sharp in the pocket, looked really spectacular throwing off his back foot. And showed me a little Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers in the pocket towards the second half of the NFL season. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. And the Packers might have found their best replacement since Aaron Rodgers left. I mean, that their only replacement, but you guys get what I'm trying to say. The line of Brett Favre transitioning into Aaron Rodgers, and then having Aaron Rodgers transition into Jordan Love. They have found a code that works every single time, but I have to say Jordan Love deserved his money because what he did to the Dallas Cowboys in the playoffs still keeps me up late at night thinking about how they dismantled and dominated us, the 7th seed, came into Dallas and steamrolled us. That game showed me that Jordan Love has the poise and has the mindset that you need in order to be an elite caliber guy in the National Football League. And then going on the road to play in San Francisco, hanging with the 49ers all the way into the end, a team that was the reigning defending NFC champions right now. So that shows me a lot about Jordan Love, and that shows me about how good he could possibly be and how good his peak is going to be once he truly reaches it in the National Football League. Now, last thing I will say, has the price of Dak Prescott gone up? And I have to say yes. The Jones family loses again. Whenever Stephen Jones and Jerry Jones are put their backs against the wall, trying to win the negotiating deal with their players, it never works. Go back to 2019 when Ezekiel Elliott went to party in Mexico until he got a new deal. Cowboys gave in to him, nearly gave him $100 million as a running back. They gave Zach Martin a huge deal as well when their backs were against the wall a few years ago. Now you find yourselves having to pay CeeDee Lamb a good chunk of money, Micah Parsons a good chunk of money, and now Dak Prescott a good chunk of money. And you're going to have to make Dak Prescott, when he gets that deal, or if you give it to him, the highest paid player in the NFL based off of what Tua Tagovailoa and Jordan Love have gotten in their new deals. But I still stay on the fence that the Jones should not pay Dak Prescott unless he makes an NFC Championship game or a Super Bowl this upcoming NFL season. But however, if Dak Prescott puts up the stats that he did or something similar to what he did last year and played at MVP caliber year, I will have to say there will be teams desperate to give him possibly $300 million. Teams of the Las Vegas Raiders, the Carolina Panthers, the New York Giants, some names that have come to the top of my head that will be desperate to pay Dak Prescott if the Dallas Cowboys won't. So Dak Prescott could be a winner in this situation, whether he plays with the Dallas Cowboys or not. If he puts up them stats that he did last year, I can see him making $300 million plus this upcoming NFL season. But I stand on that. The NFL market is insane right now. We got to do something about this because these NFL players, we're going to come to a point where one day, maybe 5 to 10 years down the road, a quarterback is going to make $450 million to $500 million. And there's going to be nothing we could do. I'm talking like guaranteed money. I think that could happen one day in the National Football League. Just saying. But those are my thoughts on the quarterbacks, the new quarterbacks that have gotten their new deals. And those are my thoughts on the quarterback market right now in the National Football League.